Hi, I've been asked quite often a question that how can we make HR managers or CHROs as transformational leaders? When I'm asked this question, immediately a counter question that comes to my mind is why only HR people? Why not the CXOs, any CXO? Or why not the CEO himself or herself? A finance manager can be a good transformational leader. A production or manufacturing head can be a transformational leader. A marketing manager can be a transformational leader. Anyone in the organization can be a transformational leader. But people tell me now we are talking of HR. Now don't bring all those others into question. Whatever you say may be also true with them. But is there any reason why we should try and make CHROs as transformational leader? I said yes, I can think of one very important reason. The important reason is it is the HR people who deal with people in the organization. Not only the employees of the organization, but HR people ideally are expected to deal with the customers too. If you don't know your customers, if you don't know your suppliers, you cannot build your employees to serve the customers better and to get the best out of their suppliers and so on. So there are a wide variety of stakeholders who are served by HR people. In fact, it is said that in an organization, everything passes through HR people. And of course, finance and accounts people. The money part of it passes through finance and accounts, and the people part of it through HR. And therefore, HR probably is in an ideal situation to be a transformational leader, because any transformation that has to take place in an organization has to be focused on people. It is people who have to be transformed. And the question is, what do we mean by transformation? Why transformation at all? Transformation is a process of lifting up a situation from the current status to a higher status. It may be anything. It may be products, it may be services, it may be the image, it may be the competencies of people, whatever you talk of. It is lifting up. That is transformation. So what is it that needs to be lifted up? I would say on a continuous basis, never-ending basis, what needs to be lifted up is the people and their talent. People and their capabilities. We are all born with enormous capabilities. And we are unable to discover and utilize even a small part of it. Organizations are platforms where we can apply our talent, discover our talent, and make a difference. But the very organizations which are supposed to be platforms to discover, multiply, nurture our talent also become constraints by their overemphasis on tasks and targets, underemphasis on beautiful opportunities that could be provided, overemphasis on conformity and underemphasis on creativity, overemphasis on following directions and underemphasis on a participative kind of a decision making, overemphasis on centralization and underemphasis on decentralized and delegated decision making. We unknowingly prevent people from exploring their talent, and that is why transformation is required. So HR people are probably in the ideal kind of a situation to be transformational leaders, because legitimately they are to deal with people. This may start with customers and suppliers, they may start with employees, they may start with top management, they could start with board, they could start with workmen, they could start with anyone. By starting with anyone and spreading all through the corporation, a process of transformation, a HR manager can do a lot, can be instrumental, can be a leader of transformation. How does a HR leader transform a corporation? I have a few thoughts on this. These are not perfect, but I think some thoughts I can give. The most important starting point for a HR leader to be a transformational leader is self-discovery. The HR leader should have enough insights about himself. He or she should know what he or she is capable of doing. What are his own inner dilemmas, inner aspirations? What is the philosophy? What is the outlook that he or she has about people? And so on. And also constantly discovering one's own talent. This requires a continuous introspection and a continuous seeking feedback from others and continuous renewal and rejuvenation. So self-management and self-development and self-leadership is the starting point of any HR leader to be a transformational leader. If you can't transform yourself, if you can't think positively about yourself, how can you transform other people? How can you think positively and influence the rest of the world, rest of the company, and so on? That is why the first prerequisite for a transformational leader or for HR manager to be a transformational leader is to be a self-driven, reflective, introspective, self-conscious, self-aware person. So you should focus on yourself. Every now and then you should take some time off, look at what's happening, be in silence, meditate, renew yourself, look at the rest of the world, look at people, go to different kind of settings and understand what it is to be a good human being. A good HR manager, if you have to be a transformational leader, has got to be a good human being with good degree of empathy and good degree of perceptiveness and a good degree of emotional stability and balance. Okay, you have achieved to some extent, because this is a never-ending process, you have achieved to some extent your self-leadership. What should you do next? And I have 3 different approaches as preliminary thoughts. You can adopt a systems approach. Use any of the systems that you have to bring transformation. I've always found performance management is a good system to bring about transformation, but it needs a totally different set of attitudes. In the past, we have wrongly used performance management to manage the performance of employees by setting KRAs, getting tasks, targets and things of that kind. Nothing wrong in this, but what was missing in the past in bringing transformation through performance management is we have always promoted performance management as the business of managers or seniors or supervisors. I have come to the conclusion after 45 years of work in this field, the most important thing in performance management is to help every individual take charge of his or her own performance. I'm just giving this as an illustration. If you can have the appropriate kind of performance management system, and if you aim at helping people to enjoy their work and make people to make a difference in their own lives and in the lives of others, in the lives of the families, in the lives of the customers they serve, internal and external, in the lives of people whom they interact with, I think you have achieved a hell of a lot of transformation. So step 1 is self-transformation. Step 2, using systems, any one of the systems, and I have taken just as an illustration, performance management system to bring about transformation. It's not only performance management system. You can use continuous coaching as a transformational tool. You can use mentoring as a transformational tool. You can use competency mapping as a transformational tool. You can use diagnostic exercises, organization development exercises, institution building exercises, any one of these as transformational tools. Now HR fortunately has given today a large number of such tools, beginning with recruitment, induction, training and development, on-the-job learning and employee engagement and so on and so forth. So you can use any one of the systems or a combination of these systems to bring transformation, and you can be a great transformational leader. But mind you, you have to use the systems very appropriately. The second approach you can take to be a transformational leader after working on yourself as a leader is a spiritual approach. Spiritual approach is you become therefore a spiritual guru of the company. Don't use systems. You are there just as a spiritual guru. You and your team has the job of being available to bring about spiritual transformation. What do I mean by spiritual transformation? You can give your own interpretation about the spiritual transformation. But one of the things I would think a spiritual transformation is inculcating the right spirits in the minds of the people. To think positively, to be empathetic, to be helpful, to be collaborative, to be value driven, to be conscious of the ultimate goals, and to work towards self-realization. There is not one way of doing. You are like a yogi or a muni, or you are like a spiritual guru available, and you are not the only one spiritual guru. Your main task is to make many other people in the organization as spiritual gurus. So you will spread, you will inspire people, and you will spread the spirit of positive thinking in the minds of a large number of people. So you can pick up a spiritual approach. If you like, you can use a number of these spiritual gurus nowadays. Sadguru, Sri Sri, you can get some people from Vipassana, meditation, Brahma Kumaris, and so many of them. They will all be there to assist you. But essentially, your path is creating some kind of a self-realization and helping people to discover their own potential. So this is the spiritual path. This is the third point. Then there is a fourth way in which you can ensure or you can bring transformation, and that is by using powerful other people in the surroundings. Power. There are three types of power that you can use. Coercive power. If you sometimes want transformation pretty fast, and if you have a good CEO who is a very autocratic, coercive person, you can also bring transformation by pushing things down the throat, by insisting on the discipline, rules, regulations, and things of that kind, and bring transformation. I must say that in spite of all the criticism that people have offered to what was declared as emergency in mid-70s, I have, as a citizen of this country, experienced a lot of transformation during that particular year when the trains ran on time, corruption in the bureaucracy was reduced, everyone did their job, they came to offices on time, everything went spick and span. Of course, there were some excesses during that particular period, which even today people keep talking about it, but I am not talking of the excesses. Sometimes coercive leaders are necessary when indiscipline increases. So coercive or using power is one way of bringing about transformation. I don't normally recommend this, but I don't rule this out. At some points of time when things are not going on well, you may have to use this. There is a second type of power that you can use. You can use expert power by educating people, by constantly supplying them with data, information, pointing out the consequences of what they are doing, and also collecting and influencing the thinking of people. So this is using expert power you can bring transformation. Data, science, evidence, and things like that. And there is a third way, a participative way by which you can you can bring about transformation by using leaders to be participative, by CEOs to be participative, by heads of departments to be participative, CXOs to be participative. You can bring about transformation. You can also bring about transformation by a developmental leadership style, what we call as HRD style, self-dispensing, make people competent, build their competencies, and get them to be able to decide. So many other ways are there by which you can use exercise power and bring about transformation. Well, these are all the ways in which transformation can be brought, but whatever transformation that you want to bring, you want to be a transformational leader, you'll have to work with people. And you have to work with, to begin with, your own seniors, your top management, your board, and sometimes the collectives, the unions, the associations and things of that kind. This requires a lot of courage, requires a lot of perseverance, requires a lot of consistency. And on the top of all of this, it requires stability and commitment to one organization. So if you are not a HR leader who is not likely to be stick around with one company and want to see change in that particular kind of a company, it might be difficult for you to attempt any transformation in that particular organization. So it's only when you are stable, you are empathetic, you are self-discovering, you can be a good transformational leader. Do you want to be one? I would strongly recommend you. You can be one. Why not? Try it now. Best. These are the best of the times. Try it. It's only when you try it you are able to decide whether you are a transformational leader or not. All the best from TVRLS.